Judging ringside, Adelaide Bird scores the bout 118 to 109. Jerry Roth sees the bout 119 to 108. And Craig Metcalf scores the bout 120 to 107. All in favor of the winner. And now the first American boxer to win the heavyweight title in nearly a decade. The new WBC Heavyweight Champion of the world, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder.
Oh, say, can you see Deontay Wilder is the WBC Heavyweight Champion? Naya, Dad kept his promise.
All right, what's going on, boxing fans? It has been a while since I've done a video. I actually don't even remember what was the last video I done. But let's get to it. Let's talk about last night's fight. Main event being the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder, against Bermane Stiverne, who was then the WBC Heavyweight Champion. Let me touch on the undercard real quick. Iman against Maldonado. That was a pretty good fight. That was a fight, if you were falling asleep when it started, that was a fight to get you woke up and going. 5 rounds of action. And that third round, I mean, it's way too early. But you heard, it was people on Twitter and even the broadcasters on Showtime saying that could be round of the year. And it very well could be. I mean, if that's what we have to look forward to, and we need 2 or 3 more rounds to beat that out for the next 11 months, then I think we in store for a good year. That was a pretty good fight. Iman wins by knockout. I had no problem at all with the stoppage, because these guys were throwing bombs, and it was better to stop the fight then instead of Maldonado being hurt. After the fight, there was some mention of Iman fighting Adrian Broner, or maybe stepping up to somebody at that level. I think that those fights could work out for him. Let's move on to the next fight. My guy Leo Santa Cruz, I have to be honest and say that I'm disappointed in his last few performances. Yes, he got the guy out of there in the 8th round. He won a few rounds with him, but you would think that somebody on the skill level of Santa Cruz could get a guy out like that a few rounds earlier. To be honest, maybe by the 5th round, the 4th probably wasn't asking too much. Ruiz was tough though, man. He came in there and fought as if he wanted to win and didn't just want to be an opponent. Anyway, Santa Cruz wins, and he did the same thing he did his last 2 fights. He said he wants to fight Rigondeaux, he wants to fight Quigg, he wants to fight Frampton. I want to say he even mentioned yes, Mares. Yes, he did. He mentioned about going up and fighting Mares. Well, I kind of agree with Jim Gray. I'll believe it when I see it, and let's hope that he pushes his management to go with it, because those are the only fights at this point I want to see Santa Cruz in. Moving on to the main event. The Bronze Bomber did it. He brings a portion, not the linear title, but a portion of the heavyweight championship back to the United States that has been under the hold of fighters from Europe for the last few years. Vladimir Klitschko, who is a recognized champion, and I want to say Povetkin had the WBA, and before that it was David Hayes. So a few European fighters have had the title. Now Deontay Wilder brings it back. Let's touch on the fight. I was pretty pleased with the fight. I did think that Wilder would get Stiverne out of there in round 7 is what I predicted, but it went the distance. He won by unanimous decision, and in my opinion, I thought he fought a pretty good fight. Not perfect, but pretty good. He was using the jab, which a guy that's 6'7" should do. He was moving. He showed that he can take a shot, and he showed that he can go past 4 rounds. A lot of people thought that maybe he would be fatigued, you know, getting around the 6th, 7th round, but he wasn't. You know, he was still throwing fire, you know, from rounds, you know, 7 through 12. It wasn't as much pop as it was in the first, you know, 6 or so rounds, but he still was hitting Bermane with some 1-2s. I think that Wilder did a very good job of not falling into the traps, because that one thing Stiverne does good is he sets up traps. The way he beat Areola in both of those fights was the same way. He's a heavyweight counterpuncher, and he looks to set up traps. Areola, who I actually picked in both of those fights, fell into those traps. Wilder, a lot of people thought he would because he was young and be looking for the knockout, but that's not what happened. Wilder actually was very patient, working his jab, moving. I noticed that when Bermane would lay up against the ropes, where it looked like he was trying to set a trap, Wilder would throw his jab, but then he would take 3 steps back. He would not fall in for the trap, and he showed a very patient fight. And I'm very proud of him. I thought he did very well, and I'm interested to see where he goes from here. Did he have some flaws in his game? Yes, he did. One is bending down as low as he does to get his shots off. You know, the late Emmanuel Stewart taught Vladimir Klitschko the same way he taught Lennox Lewis for him how to fight tall. If you're 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", use your height. Don't bend down. And Wilder, I think, can still learn those things. But looking at the positive, my God, he did it. He won the fight. And there are some pretty good fights out there for him. A lot of people are believing that as soon as he steps up to another fight, he's going to get whacked. This is just my personal opinion. I don't think that he'll beat Vladimir. Even if Vladimir fights another 3 years, so he's 42, I don't see any heavyweight that's going to beat Vladimir. He still is head over shoulders the best heavyweight in the world. And in my opinion, there's people calling out. There's going to say Tyson Fury, Brian Jennings, Mike Perez, maybe even Pulev once he dusts himself off. Those guys will whack Wilder out of there. To be honest, I don't see any of those 4 guys beating Wilder. I think that he could stop any of those 4 guys, in my opinion. Bermane just has an iron chin, and he showed it last night, because the same shot that Wilder hit Liakowicz with and had him doing the Harlem Shake on the floor, Stiverne took those shots. As far as Bermane goes, he still is a top 10 heavyweight, and I think that he'll come back. I don't really know what his plan B was. His plan A seems to be catch Wilder lure him into a trap, counterpunch him, knock him out. He didn't seem to have a plan B, but he'll bounce back. He's still a top 10 heavyweight, and he'll get a chance to fight somebody else down the road. As for Wilder, he moves on. I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. A portion of the heavyweight title is back in the United States. That's all I have, boxing fans. It's been a minute. I'm glad to get back in here. That's all I got. Catch y'all later.